Sunak promises to bring back national service for 18-year-olds. Okay, let's engage in some critical thinking. Why? Well, because they hate you is why. That's the reason why, obviously. No, in all seriousness, national service is being used as a kind of like imperial dog whistle here. This is never going to be used. Like, are you kidding me? It's not like. Wait, hold on one second. Am I wrong on this? Are they talking about bringing back the draft or about like mandatory service? 1 week per month volunteering. Oh God, it's mandatory service, not even the draft? Okay, yeah, this is Hitlerite shit. This is well, it actually predates Hitlerite shit. It really is like imperial revivalism LARPing, where it's like, the UK doesn't have an identity outside the fact that we lost India, Let's pretend. They like doing this. We talk about America being highly militarized, and in fairness, it is, okay? But like, don't they have a junior cadets program that's pretty popular over in England? Or over in the UK? Where you'll be like a 16-year-old high school student, and you'll also then after classes, you'll have like a day camp where some like dipshit, low level military officer is given a fake rank, like colonel or whatever, and shouts at you on how to like fire down the line or whatever. I was in the cadets, yes, yeah. How is that different in the ROTC here? Well, it's cut from the same cloth, but there are critical distinctions. For one, my understanding is that it's more LARPy with the UK. Like much more, all right, you're all serving in the Queen's Regiment bullshit or whatever. But secondly, and here's the larger one, America uses its military. I know that sounds dumb, but that's actually a pretty big distinction. America is a militarily involved country. We are not just a militarily involved country, we are the militarily involved country. We are invested, which means that programs that are designed to like integrate military, training or dredge up recruitment, these things, I don't defend them, I don't support them, but they're at least a coherent part of what our nation is and prioritizes. What about the UK? Nope. Nope. Which means that on their side of things, the only reason stuff like this would be done, and keep in mind, we're talking about mandatory service here. America doesn't have this. America does not have mandatory service. This is insane. This is like IDF shit. This is South Korea shit. This is insane. Like, look, you all know how I feel about Israel. Israel is at least a country that exists in an uncertain state of threat, right? America is not. We are safe and secure. Israel might be heavily armed, armored, protected, blah, blah, but they are surrounded by forces that dislike them. That is true. Likewise with South Korea, they're right up against North Korea. Okay, I understand some degree of paranoia. What is the immediate adjacent threat to the United Kingdom? Do they think the Troubles are going to start up again? Scottish independence? What? Please, what? The another 100 years war? Like what is the immediate threat? There is none, which means that this initiative, again, this is not being done for any practical purpose, save maybe the idea of like state indoctrination. This is being done as a political tool. This isn't being done to like bolster the nation in any military capacity. It's just a way of using the government to indoctrinate and nationalize the thinking of the youth. It's pretty psycho, It's pretty sickening. Normally stuff like this is done in response to some perceived threat. In this case, it's very nakedly just, we need to, we need to fight the woke, exactly. 18-year-olds could opt to spend 1 weekend a month volunteering in roles such as special constable, RNLI volunteer, or NHS responder. Officials claimed it would give young people real-world skills while contributing to their country and community. Yeah, something tells me, by the way, that of these three proposed options, the actual investment is going to be less in the NHS responder and more in these two, Special constables are basically police but shit. Yeah, imagine you've been out and about in London having an average day of like committing 3 stabbings, and then a police officer and a zit-faced 18-year-old special constable roll up on you, and they're like, "Oi, you go." The young guy's got like his note cards out. Do you have Are you registered for that? No, it's licensed. Do you have a license for that knife? Yeah. That's only for those who don't join the army for a year. Yeah, a lot of them aren't going to join the army for a year. I don't know. This national pride shit, it's just another way of, like, Thatcher did this with the Falkland Islands. Not by the way that I think it was wrong of her to take, to fight that fight, but it was weaponized for nationalist purposes in a way that very conveniently bolstered her standing. Was there conscription for the Falklands War? I've never looked it up, but I hope not. Argentina was planning an ethnic cleansing. Yeah, childhood is when you support based Argentina for taking the Falkland Islands. Adulthood is when you realize Thatcher, that was the one thing Thatcher did right. The RNLI is the lifeboat organization. What the fuck is that? Lifeboat services? Oh, is this like your Coast Guard? Is it military? Like the Coast Guard is military. Is this military, or is it just lifeboats? Funded by legacies and donations. Oh, so it's not even a national... That's weird. I've never heard of this. It's a charity? So the government would have you do national service to a registered charity? That's odd, but oh, all right. I mean, I guess that's better than... Okay, whatever. Coast Guard is not military. Okay, yeah, okay, Did you know the U.S. Coast Guard was the first service the female had? Wasn't the Coast Guard invented by Hamilton? Yes? That's wild. Yeah, it is. I thought it is military. Just people get up about it sometimes. I don't know why. Sunak was accused of hypocrisy over his scheme. In January, the Prime Minister rebuked the Chief of the General Staff following his suggestion the UK might need a citizen army to fight Putin. What the fuck? Did I miss this? Army chief says people of UK are pre-war generation who must be ready to fight Russia. Bro, if you're fighting Russia, like, it's over, man. You have nukes. We all have nukes. Everyone has nukes. This isn't happening. Also, what do you mean? Russia's supply lines were stalling 80 miles out of its own border. Are you kidding me? You really think Russia could maintain a supply line running all the way across? Like, it would like break its way through Poland and then Germany and just all the way over? What ground war with Russia? We're so desperate for a European war here in the UK, it's pathetic. Yeah, because conservatives like to do this stuff because gesturing at some great national threat is the easiest way for them to stoke fears in the population and make them, like tolerant of the strongman bullshit. It's just weird for the UK to do this. They're just not nobody seems to like the service policy. I mean, yeah, it's not good. It's pretty bad. Russia could theoretically attack from the North Sea. Okay, a lot of things could North Korea could theoretically attack from the North Sea. It's the sea. Anyone can get into it. I don't think that's a viable strategy. Like it's an RTS. Like, we're gonna sneak our carriers around the like fog of war at the top of the map for 6 minutes. We're doing a pre-Overlord speed upgrade Zergling drop. Okay, we just need 18 minutes to move the Overlords all the way around the outer corners of the map. While they waltz over there. Real household consumption. What is this? The dashed line is the 2013 to 2019 trend. And the solid line is what has actually happened in the past, 5 years. And the trend... Okay, so yeah, America immediately caught up. You all know, our COVID recovery was perfect, right? Pretty crazy. But in the Eurozone and the UK specifically, just nope. It's just completely flatlined. That's crazy. The entire Ukraine invasion has been a diversion for the Russian UK invasion. Yeah. All of this has been a feint, you see? By merely committing their entire economy and military into the special military operation Ukraine, they're actually freeing up attention that they can exploit by invading from the north. Labour lambasted the idea as another uncosted policy from the Tories, who have already raised the prospect of tax cuts they have yet to fund. This is another desperate $2.5 billion unfunded commitment from a Tory party which already crashed the economy, sent mortgages rocketing, and now they're spoiling for more, said a spokesperson. This is not a plan. It's spokesperson. Shouldn't it be spokesman or spokeswoman? I want to know the genitals of the person who said this. I thought Labour were committed to the safety and rights of women. This is not a plan. It's a review which could cost billions and is only needed because the Tories hollowed out the armed forces to their smallest size since Napoleon. Britain has had enough of the Conservatives who are... Oh, I like how the Labour Party is like, yeah, you know what else the Tories have fucked up? They've made the military smaller. Thank you, Labour Party. You almost got one question correct, You almost said one thing correctly. But you had to fuck it up. Britain has had enough of the Tories, who are bankrupt of ideas, have no plans to end 14 years of chaos. It's time to rebuild Britain with Labour. Cool. What does Britain's military even do? Not much. I mean, they joined us in the Iraq War, as a lot of other nations did. You actually want, this sounds psychotic, but you actually want your soldiers to be constantly involved in war if possible. You don't want total peacetime, because in any military unit, you need one guy who's already been there. No amount of training can compensate for a lack of in-combat experience. So in every group of soldiers, you want, like, for every, like, 10... just total conscript, like never fought before, whatever. You need at least a few guys who have actually been there. This is one of the reasons why you'll see that, like, nations' military sometimes get involved in a symbolic capacity in a lot of wars. That's why a lot of people participated in Iraq, because it was like, how do we, like, we have a whole generation with no war right now. We need some people to have some experience so that if a real war breaks out, we don't have every unit being led by, like, a total greenback, right? Wait, hold on. Greenback isn't the racial slur. Greenback means inexperienced. No, greenback means US paper dollars. What am I thinking of? Greenhorn? Greenhorn. I'm thinking of greenhorn. Greenback is the dollar, greenhorn is the noob, and the other one is the racial slur. Okay, thank you, greenhorn. That's right. Don't say it, Exel. Don't say it. Thank you. Britain was on the front lines in Iraq being shot at by American troops. Hell yeah. You know, get some experience in. One of the reasons why we still do, like, joint military operations, you know? In a totally peaceful world, we would probably have, like, military games between armies of allied nations. We'd hold those pretty regularly, I imagine, you know? Give the soldiers a bunch of, like, blanks and just have them all, like, pretend to kill each other. I don't know. Have fun. We do that? Yeah, well, it's good. There's a reason we do it. I mean, it's good in terms of military readiness or preparedness. That's why China won't win against America. The Chinese don't have training. That is a part of it. Yes, that is a part of it. The Chinese military is vast, but they don't have anywhere near the same amount of, like, integrated experience. Yeah, that is a big part of it. Do they use live arms in war games? I mean, it depends on what they're doing. Like, sometimes they'll like fire on ships that are being decommissioned, you know, and they use real weapons for that. I want to note, by the way, at the end of all of this, I'm not necessarily opposed to national service as a concept, but I would want it to be done in a New Deal kind of sense. I do like the idea of, once you turn 18, you can pursue a guaranteed job path of 2 years being like a construction worker or something like that, you know? But it would have to be always civil, 100% civil. You know, it could not be military. And that I like. And it's not mandatory at all. It's just like, that can be a path you go into, you know? You mean an apprenticeship? Yeah. Well, it could be that. It could take a lot of different forms, you know? But, like, what about, like, trash cleaner? You know, one thing that I noticed in Barcelona that was really based is that all the time, day and night, they had people who were just cleaning the streets. I'm not gonna lie, that shit doesn't happen in America. Like, sometimes, maybe once a week, there will be a big street cleaner that gets driven by that cleans the roads, and you have to, like, not park on the roads during that day so they can clean it. But they had people in these little, let me see if I can see it, hold on. Spanish street clean vehicle. I don't know if it'd be all of Spain or if it's just a Barcelona thing, but yeah, like this. It was really cool. They're not that much larger than a regular vehicle, and there were, like, 4 guys to each of them, and they had power washers, and they would just get out and clean stuff. And there were lots of them. They could go everywhere. They could go on the sidewalks, they could go on the roads. They wouldn't, like, shut down the street to use them. They would just, like, drive by and use them, and everything was really clean. But the American street cleaning vehicles, here, street cleaning vehicle, nobody got out of them, and they're huge. At least the ones in Beverly Hills that I saw. Yeah, they were these. These are the ones that I saw. You didn't have guys getting out of them, picking up trash and using power washers. They're just these big trucks that would, like, sweep an entire road at once, which is totally different in its effect. It only gets the road, you know, where the cars go, not the sidewalk where the humans go. Yeah, I don't know. Fire trucks in Europe are smaller too. Yeah, I've read threads on American fire trucks being too large. That it actually, like, gets in the way sometimes, but they just buy bulk, and it's like, yeah, fuck it. This town where the highest building is 6 stories definitely needs, like, a full-size New York City fire truck with a ladder that can go up 27 stories or whatever. And that, like, can't turn onto smaller streets because it's so big. This is definitely necessary. Yeah, it sucks, Exel. There are small versions for sidewalks. I know, I haven't seen them. Conspicuous street cleaning does sound like it'd make people happier. How cool would it be, unironically, for like beautifying the community and making people feel connected to it? How cool would it be if it's like, yeah, you're 18, you need a job. Here, we'll pay you a bit above minimum wage or whatever. Here's your full-time job. You're just gonna like clean the city you live in. Like for real, like here's a group of 4 pimply 18-year-olds and 1 supervisor, and it's like, hey, we're gonna go to like this downtown area and we're just gonna clean up. And it's not like weird or whatever because it's everywhere now. It's just like, yeah, you're just cleaning, you know? Yeah, do like, it's like Boy Scoutship. Instead of, I don't know, pulling knots in the forest and being molested by your supervisor, it's you actually go out there and make a real difference. And I think it would make people feel more like connected to their community. I'm 25, I needed a job like that. It's just crazy that it doesn't already exist. Not like the prison thing where you pick up trash below the road, right? No. Because that's a humiliation thing. That's like you're being punished. So wear these like yellow vests and you can only do it off the road of freeways because we don't want you being seen in public areas. Like people should only see you at 80 miles an hour as they drive by and toss like McDonald's paper bags at you or whatever. No, that. I mean, like you're just like walking around town and you're just cleaning an area. You have any idea how much of a town 4 people could clean in 8 hours, factoring in a lunch break? Do you have any idea how much they could do? Vosh, that's a job in China and it's very discriminated. Chinese parents will use this job to scare their children to participate in a state test or else they're going to become a city sweeper. The radical dino, I love you. Do you know how stereotypically Chinese that is? Like there's a whole, you know this, there's a whole like industry of jokes over here in America from Asian American immigrants who are like, you know, you get 5 A's, but you'll get F on gender. Why no A or whatever? And it's like good to know you guys are doing that in a whole national level too. That's fantastic. You know, why? I'm glad. You know, I'm not glad. I mean, anyone who cleans the city, like that's a respectable profession. You know, I think that in America people would respect that a little bit more than in China, because there are lots of parts of America, I think, where that would be seen as like an honorable local job. It reminds me of how the New York City trash men have their own union and uniform and stuff, and it looks really good. The New York City sanitation uniforms, they treat these motherfuckers like the Green Beret. I'm not kidding. Look, in New York City, because of the sanitation workers union, they have like funerals for their own guys. Like, no joke. Look at this. It's actually really cool. Like, think of how much New York City depends on its sanitation workers. We've seen what New York City looks like without its sanitation workers, and it was like the 80s before they New York City trash epidemic. It's in history. It used to be worse than it is now, and it's pretty bad now. Look at these guys. The sanitation workers saved the fucking city, man. It was like insane. Here we go. The great garbage strike of 68, where the sanitation workers striked because they weren't getting compensated well enough. Look, they can't even drive down the street. The street is literally blocked by trash. It's like, yeah, you know, you're not going to pay us properly. We'll strike. We'll see how New York City does without us. And like when the New York City Police Department striked, crime went down. Because the mayor made comments about like, hey, maybe we shouldn't murder Eric Garner. The New York City Police Department strikes, crime goes down. The sanitation workers strike, the city instantly collapses. And yet the sanitation workers get paid a tiny fraction of what the police get paid, both as like an institution and individually. It's crazy, huh? Basically what I'm saying is that I think that when you are 18, the government should give you the option to be this guy, or at least to get in this career path. This guy right here is a sanitation worker. Look at all these suits. This dude looks military. Look at him. I also like that because they're sanitation workers and not like police or military, when you see them and they're fat, it's not like, oh, wow, cop, pig, donut, haha. It's actually like, thank you, Dave. Is your name Dave? Thank you, Dave. Every day you work hard to keep our city safe from trash, and then you go home and have a brewski. And I think that's your right. Thank you. Good old Dave. It just fills me with jolly proletarian cheer, which is not something I can say when I see a photo of a cop in uniform smiling. Friend-shaped? Yeah, if not friend, why friend-shaped? It's worthy proletarian work. It's not just worthy proletarian work, it's the worthy proletarian work, right? Like, this is literally the backbone of city infrastructure. Anyway, the reason I'm saying all of this is because I don't want you guys to think that I'm necessarily against the concept of national service, but it has to be non-mandatory, and it has to be for, like, you know, stuff that actually helps people, like trash collectors, and not stuff that doesn't help people, like soldiers. Just want to make that clear. We're touching on something that is inherently wrong with modern culture here. Well, yeah, because like nowadays, the only way, like the only respectable job that you can get is being a crypto grifter who writes Substack articles like, what my children not talking to me on my birthday taught me about business, and you're like selling your entire life out for like 6 extra Substack subscriptions, and that's the only respectable job now, and it's like, what about OnlyFans models? Yeah, and that I guess those are the two genders. No one gives a fuck about like real jobs that do anything anymore. It's all a grift economy. That's the only way to make money anymore. It's all a grift economy. Nobody has a real job. If you're a Starbucks barista, you are more of a real worker than the majority of people who make more money than you. The majority of people who make more money than you do it by shuffling around like shareholder interest. It's all like shareholder hype or internet scams or like tech guys getting paid too much to do no work because they're in a bubble that'll pop in 18 months. If you're a Starbucks barista, you're providing actual material, non-fungible, you're there at that moment, service to people around you. What's more real, Vosh? Service worker or factory worker? I mean, they're both equally real, but like there are no factory workers in America anymore. There are like 5 factory workers, let's be real, okay? We don't really have an industrial productive base in America anymore because it's almost always cheaper to ship that shit out to a poorer country. Yeah, we have agricultural facilities because sometimes, like, we do have a very big agricultural base in this country. That's true. That's true. Amazon doesn't count as factory work. Oh, what? I think that factory work and warehouse work are different, but it's not like a respect thing. I'm not saying one is better than the other. Just like when I think of Amazon warehouse work, I think of warehouse work, and when I think of factory work, I think of something a little more like machine oriented. But maybe that's just my bias. Maybe in reality, like in a lot of ways, it's kind of a blurry line that doesn't even meaningfully distinguish. I don't really know.